Hey everybody, hope you're having a good day. Before we get started with today's video, I just want to thank everybody. We're almost at 16,000 subscribers, which is awesome. I also want to send a shout out to two of the newest members to my channel, Angus Rito and Marcus Lee, or Angus Reto, not really sure how to pronounce it. If I messed your name up, I do apologize, but I want to thank both of you all for becoming members to my channel. It means so much to me, and it just keeps growing, and I thank you guys so much. As we come to the end of 2022, I kind of look back at a lot of the videos that I've done over the year and think to myself, what are some of the best distros of the year, which I've done a video about, but what are some of the best distros that we need to be taking a look at in 2023? What does the new year hold in store for Linux and distros that are out there that are still growing or fixing bugs that are making their operating system even better? That's what I'm going to go over today. I'm going to revisit 3 distros that I think we as a community need to watch in 2023. So without any further ado, let's get to the video. Today I want to take a look at a new operating system that was just recently brought to my attention by one of the developers. He reached out to me on Discord and asked me if I would take it for a test drive, take a look at it, and then let the community know about it. So the distribution we're looking at today, I'm not really sure how to pronounce it, guys. I don't know if it's Cachy. If you got an idea of how to do that or how to pronounce it, please drop that in the comments below. But I do like the intro screen on their website. It's Linux distribution based on Arch. Their goal is to provide you a better speed, security, and ease of use. And then you can scroll down through here and it covers kernel, KDE Plasma, installer to suit your needs, a better browser, awesome themes, the most powerful features, and then you can scroll down. They got a really good looking website. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back up top. I want to click on download. Download takes you over to SourceForge. I downloaded it already. It downloaded pretty easy and pretty quickly actually. And then if we go down through here, you've got was founded a year ago. After almost 1 year of development, we are really proud to announce our first stable release of the graphic user interface installer. I'll show you that when we get into it here in a second. And then their file systems, you've got ButterFS, ZFS, ext4, XFS, F2FS. And after we found a solution to provide all the custom kernels with the ZFS module integrated, we have implemented a one-click install for ZFS. And then you come down here, you've got different desktop environments it's available in: KDE, Cutefish, i3, GNOME, OpenBox, Wayfair, LXQT, bspawn, Kofuku, and XFCE. Now, Kofuku is bliss in Japanese. And then down here, Linux kernels that you have the availability of using. They use different schedulers, different patches to improve performance. The following schedulers are supported: Bohr, CFS, Cachy, and Cachy RDB, BMQ, PDS, and TT. And then you do have a kernel manager inside the operating system, and then you do have a package manager that they have set up inside the operating system. So without any further ado, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead real quick and zip back on over to my desktop, and we're going to open up GNOME boxes here real quick. And what we're going to do is we're just going to start this operating system up and see what we're looking at. Now, I run a lot of things in virtual. I run very little that I go from a just install it and let's take a look at it. I'm going to go ahead and give this one a little bit of a storage limit, so I want to kind of introduce you to the installation that they do on it, their installation program, which I believe is just a customized version of Calamares, but I'm going to double check anyway. Let's go ahead and enter that. And like I said, I wish I knew exactly how to pronounce Cachy OS. Cachy, I don't know. I'll go with Cachy. And if that's wrong, you guys, I'm sure will let me know in the comments below. So let me take a little break until we get to the splash screen. Okay, we've come to live user. Let's go ahead and go to full screen and let's hit enter. And it looks like we will have to adjust the resolution. Or did it just do it on its own? It looks like it just did it on its own. And there we go. It looks as though we are in Cachy OS. Let's go ahead and click in here. Let's go ahead and pull this over. Welcome to Cachy OS. You do have a welcome screen, which I really like. Documentation, you got a README file, release info, wiki, forum, software, mailing lists, get involved, development. There is a donate button right there, and then launch installer. First thing I want to do is let's go ahead and hit the meta key, go over to
Settings. Where are settings at? There are settings. Let's go ahead and open that up, and I want to scroll down. And let's scroll down here and let's look at About. And Cachy OS, we are running in the Qemu hardware model. 2 gigabytes of memory, software rendering, 64-bit GNOME version 42.3. We are running on Wayland. All right, so let's close out of that. Let's go down here. And let's go terminal. Let's pull up Alacrity. There is no NeoFetch. HTOP. There is no HTOP. Let's try top. You're running about 624 megabytes of the 2 gigabytes I have issued to it. So that's not too bad. It's your typical GNOME desktop. And let's close out of that. Let's go back over here. System monitor. Resources. And it's reading about the same. So you're not, between top and system monitor, you're reading about the same. But what I want to know right now is accessories. You've got icon browser, screenshot, archive manager, firmware. There's your extensions if you want to use them, your GNOME extensions, calculator, tweaks. So tweaks is in here, pre-installed out of the box. Let's go back over here. Okay, so you do have your Cachy package installer. Let's open that up. Let's authenticate. Okay, so it's opened up. Okay, so pretty much you can go through and pick what you want. Audacious, Lollipop. Okay, so we've seen this in previous distributions, but I'm glad it is included in here. You can go through and pretty much pick all your favorite applications right off the bat, and then come down here and click on install. So let's close out of that. Let's go back over here. Post install, and then Octopi Cache. So that is pretty much how you're going to install software, would be Octopi. Okay. So if you're familiar with pretty much a lot of different Arch distributions, installing software should be pretty easy. And like I said, I do believe it has a customized version of Calamares, but we're going to go ahead and take a look at that. And that's what it looks like. It's loading up right here. So you would do the welcome, then you would go next. And then you've got Chicago, okay. Keyboard. Then you could do the manual partitioning. Or just erase disk. You could add swap. And then come over here and pick what file system you wanted. So let's go ahead and click next. Then you can come over here and pick what desktop you want. Whether you wanted Plasma, Cutefish, XFCE, i3 Window Manager, GNOME. I do like that. You get to pick whatever you want over here. So that's definitely a one-up compared to some other distros. There are other distros that have this tool, so don't blow my comments up going, hey, this is already available. I know it is. All I'm saying is it's nice to have available in a newer distribution. Oh, I got to pick next. Sorry, guys. I'm sitting there clicking on the next, and I'm not clicking down here right. Base development, then you can go with your ZFS kernels, selection of different Cachy kernels, Cutefish, i3 Window Manager, Firefox and language packages, NVIDIA drivers, printing supports for HP printer and scanner, and accessibility. Then, of course, you would go through and put your users in, then your summary, then your install. So that's pretty much a typical Calamares install, other than the fact that you get to change and choose some different packages and stuff prior to install. So we're going to go ahead and back out of that. Right off the bat, just looking at it, it's a decent looking little operating system. It's based on Arch. You know it's going to be right on the bleeding edge, especially for those of you out there that enjoy Arch better than, let's say, an Ubuntu or a Debian-based product, or even Fedora. We can change over to dark mode, and you just have your basic GNOME settings that you're used to. Now, I will say this, if you go over and change it to a dark mode, your whole background changes. If you go back to light, it changes, but then you don't have any backgrounds. Now, this is something that might change once you download it and install it, and it's installed on real hardware, but I kind of do like the fact that they don't just pack it full of a bunch of wallpapers that you're probably never going to use. So, what do you think about Cachy OS? Is it something you might download, throw on a USB, put into a virtual machine and take for a test drive? Let me know in the comments below. If you watch my last video, I did one that says I finally found my new daily driver. And let me tell you something. I'm very impressed with Gecko Linux so far. It is a spin of OpenSUSE that comes with things pretty much already there that you need. Now, the other day when I was actually looking at their website, which has a lot of documentation and basically tells you that it's based on OpenSUSE and that there's a lot of things that are already included in this distribution that you don't have to do. Well, when I was going through this and kind of doing my research, I found out something else. That the same developer of Gecko Linux is also the developer behind Spiral Linux. Now, Spiral Linux is very interesting. It's based on Debian 11, but it's pre-packaged with a lot of things done out of the box. It's basically made to look more polished and just be ready to use. Now, we all know Debian is a bulletproof operating system. I'm going to have some people in the comments go, no operating system is bulletproof, but when it comes to Linux, if you go from Arch down to Debian, there's a big difference. You're going to have older packages on Debian, but they're going to be more stable. Now, what Spiral Linux features include is it's built from the Debian stable packages, but with newer hardware support pre-installed from Debian backports. And it is also easily upgradable to Debian's testing or unstable branches with just a few clicks. Optimal BTRFS sub-volume layout with ZSTD transparent compression and automatic snapper snapshots. Graphical manager for your Flatpak packages. Font rendering and color theming, which is pre-configured for optimal legibility. Now, I know some people have some issues sometimes with the way fonts are rendered in Linux. This has already got that taken care of out of the box. It's got the proprietary media codecs and non-free Debian package repositories already pre-installed, so you don't have to go through that. It has broad hardware support with a wide array of proprietary firmware pre-installed, extensive printer support, optimal power management, VirtualBox support available out of the box. It enables ZRAM swap by default for better performance and low-end hardware. And normal users can operate and administer the system without recurring to the terminal. And this is what's most important. And I didn't point this out the other day either with Gecko, and I should have. Spiral Linux depends entirely on the Debian infrastructure. The same way Gecko Linux is entirely dependent upon the OpenSUSE structure. Basically what that means is if the developer gets hit by a car tomorrow and can no longer touch either spin, it'll still work. It's completely intact and it's completely connected to Debian, so you don't have to worry about that. And then installed system can be smoothly upgraded to future Debian releases while retaining its unique Spiral Linux configuration. And then if you come down here, it says, why another Debian distro? Right here is all the flavors you can get it in. You can get it in Cinnamon, XFCE, GNOME, Plasma, Mate, Budgie, LXQT, and then you've got the Spiral Linux Builder. The one we're going to be taking a look at today is Budgie, and I'm really impressed with it. It's lightweight. It's what you would expect from a solid Debian distribution. And then if you come down to the bottom, he's got special thanks to, and then you can go back up top. And you got download, documentation, bugs, forum, and news. So what we're going to do real quick is we're going to zip on over to the Spiral Linux desktop. I like it. It's just a nice, subdued look. You've got a little transparency in the top panel up here. You've got a little dock down here. Now, another thing I like is to install it, you get the Calamares installer. Now, we're not going to go through all these steps. You can watch my previous video, or you can watch any other video where I do an install and overview. Most of the time, I'm using the Calamares installer. This is pretty neat that it's included with a Debian distribution. But what I'm going to do here real quick is go ahead and close out of that. And yes, we're going to quit that. And then down here, you've got your file manager. You've got Firefox, settings, launch Software Center, and then launch Synaptic Package Manager. Now, you get the files program for your file manager. It's lightweight. It stays out of your way. It just really makes doing your job really easy. And then, of course, you've got Firefox. And then on settings, you're going to notice that your settings are real familiar, especially if you use like GNOME or something like that. You've got your network, Bluetooth, and then, of course, your backgrounds over here. Applications, online accounts, privacy, and then, of course, you can do about. It says it's Spiral Linux. I've issued it 2 gigabytes of RAM to run.
Disk capacity is 2 gigabytes. It's based on Debian GNU Linux 11 Bullseye 64-bit. It's GNOME version 3.38.5. Of course, it's going to be a little older because Debian relies on older, more stable applications and desktop environments. The windowing system is X11, and of course, virtualization is KVM. Now, one of the reasons I wanted to cover Spiral Linux is because when I did my video a couple days ago on me switching my daily driver over to Gecko, I had a lot of people in the comments basically say they wanted to be on something a little more stable. They understood why I was doing what I was doing, and then I even had some commenters go, if you like Garuda or if you liked Arch, why are you leaving it? Just stay with what you like. That's not what I do on this channel. I got to change it up. I got to keep things fresh. If I'm doing the same thing over and over and over again, it gets kind of boring. So, but that's what you get with this. You get the developer that does Gecko Linux is also doing Spiral Linux, and he's making it even better of a Debian experience out of the box. So I'm going to go ahead and close out of that. And then we're going to go down here to the Software Center. Let's go ahead and open that up. And we're going to have to let the software catalog update itself. So that'll take just a little bit, and then we can get going here. Okay, and it seems to have populated. So let's go ahead and maximize this so it's easier for you all to see. Not a big change from other distributions you've seen. You've got your editor's picks, your recent releases. And if I remember correctly, let's go ahead and look over here. It shows the installed. Let's go back to Explorer. Now I want to see if I pick like GNOME clocks. You've got Debian source and FlatHub. So you've got directly from the Debian repos, or you can install Flatpaks from the FlatHub. So that's nice to know. I always like to have a backup. Whether I'm using Arch, I use whatever repositories are there. I use the AUR. I have more places than just one spot to get the applications that I need. So you get the Debian repo and you get Flatpaks out of the box. So let's go ahead and close that. And now I want to go down here, and here's another place you can get applications is from Synaptic Package Manager. Now, if you're not familiar with Synaptic, it's more of a type search and then install type situation. So if I wanted to go over here and like do a search, I could type in something like OBS Studio, and I don't know if it'll show it to me. It may need to update. Nope, there it is right there. And then once OBS has shown up, you just click right here and mark for installation. And it'll tell you whatever dependencies you might need right here. Go ahead and mark those. Then you would come up here and hit apply. And then it would install it on your system. But that's pretty easy. You just come up here, you do a type in search, Kdenlive. We'll see if that pops up, and it's right there. You click on it, mark for installation, and then mark the dependencies, and then you're good to go. You can install from there. So there's plenty of ways to get applications and software on Spiral Linux. So let's go ahead and close out of this. We'll go ahead and quit. We'll come up here to the menu. Accessories, you got Catfish File Search, Menu Editor, Parcelite, Administration, Light DM, GTK and Greeter settings, Synaptic we already looked at, Gthumb, Transmission for your BitTorrent, Pigeon. It does come with LibreOffice out of the box, so you don't got to download an Office suite. Software update, sound recorder, you got VLC, Pulse Audio. Now I did want to see Snapper. Let's go ahead and open that up. This is where you can take a snapshot of your system. So what you'd want to do is once you got the system set up the way you wanted, and you've got all your applications put into place, and you're ready to just start using your OS. Once you get it all set up, I recommend you come over here, click on this little arrow, and then create a snapshot, and then it will walk you through it, take a snapshot of your system. So that way, should you have any issues in the future, you can always go back to a snapshot to where your operating system was stable and everything was running well. You never know. We all make mistakes, and sometimes it's nice to have that backup in case we do. And then you've got System Tools. You also got a GW Package Manager. Now, if you open this up, if you're online and you download an application you want to use that you can't find on the repositories on Flatpaks or even in Synaptic Package Manager, you can download a Debian package for it online. Go ahead and download it. Once it's downloaded, you just open up your files, go to your downloads, right click on it, and it'll say open with GW Package Manager, and the package manager will install it. So we'll close out of that, come down here, system, and then of course utilities, which has your disks, calculator, things like that. Now, system monitor, let's go ahead and open that up. Let's see what kind of resources we're using. Right now, we're at about 1.6 gigabytes running. Now, once you install this, there will be less resources used in your RAM for the simple fact that it'll be installed on bare metal and you won't have to worry about any of the operating system running in RAM in the background. It's still not too bad. It's not as heavy as a lot of other distributions I've looked at, and it's stable. And we come back over here, you finish up with utilities, and we got terminal. Let's go ahead and run a top in terminal and see what it is compared to what we were looking at a while ago. See right here, top is going to show you what the operating system in and of itself is actually using, which is about 988 megabytes. So that's not too bad. So that's a quick look at Spiral Linux. Like I said, it's coming from the same developer that delivers you Gecko Linux, which is a solid distribution and is now my daily driver. If you guys want to take a look at it, I'll make sure to include a link in the description below where you can download it. Today we're going to be taking a look at Nitrux OS. It's been about 6 months since I've taken this one for a test drive, but let me tell you something. I've downloaded it, been playing around with it a little bit in GNOME boxes, and it's come a long way. The neat thing about Nitrux is it is based on Debian, comes with a customized version of the KDE Plasma desktop, and it uses OpenRC instead of systemd. Now you can come over to their website, which is nxos.org. I'll be sure to put that in the description below. Now you can download it right here. Now what I want to do before we get into the OS is you can come over here and look at the release announcement. This come out on the 31st of August 2022. You just come over here and it kind of goes over that it uses the 5.19.5 XanMod kernel. It's default for the distribution. And then you can come down here and it kind of gives you an idea of what the MAUI applications in the MAUI shell look like. It really looks good and cohesive across the OS, and I'll show you some of those here in a second. Now you scroll down, it just kind of goes over the changes and gives you things right there and gives you information about the operating system. So what I'm going to do is we're going to go ahead right now and just switch on over to the Nitrux OS desktop. Now if you download Nitrux, throw it on a USB or open it up in a virtual machine, this is the screen you're going to pretty much be met with. And you can tell right off the bat, it's got a customized version of KDE. And this is something I'm wondering myself, because this is a customized version of Latte Dock down here. Now we have heard that Latte Dock is not under development any longer. And I'm wondering, will it be Garuda or will it be Nitrux that actually takes over the development of Latte Dock? Because both of them use this dock as an integral part of their operating system. And now as you can see here, we've got the top panel up here. And if you click on this down here, it kind of gives you a different layout in the KDE desktop environment of your Bluetooth, power management, Vault, NX notifications, KDE Connect clipboard. You've got your date and time up here, sound. And then if you do open, let's just open up the settings application. As you can tell, it's got a global menu up here. Well, let's go ahead and make that full screen. And out of the box, they go to icon view. This is what you're going to have out of the box with Nitrux. Now, if you want to, all you got to do is come up here and switch it, and it kind of gives you that base KDE view that you're used to. But if that's not something you want, you definitely can change that. But it does have, like I said, the global menu, and then your dock auto hides, obviously. Let's go ahead and close that. We'll go back to those settings here in a little bit. I don't really think we need to go over them. If you're familiar with KDE, you know what those settings are, so I'm not going to beat those to death. And then you come down here and you can go ahead and click on your file manager. And they've got a different layout for your file manager. As you can see, it's more icon based. Now you can change that up a little bit, but over here, you've got tags, you've got your home folder, of course, you've got your desktop, documents, downloads, music, photos, videos, and then down here, you've got your trash, network, Nitrux, and your devices. But you can change this. You can adjust it however you want to. You can make it look a specific way. If you want to go to a list instead of a grid, you can. Let's go ahead and go to a list, and then it kind of lists them right here. Overall, it's not, the layout isn't what I call perfect. I do like it. It's different. Gives me a little bit of a feeling of a deepen feel. Deepen's icons are just a little bit more appealing, but that's all up to you. But there's a lot of different settings and things you can go through over here and adjust this file manager the way you like it. And then you can come over here. That's just your window title, minimize. You can make it smaller. And then, of course, close it from the global menu. If you come down here, click on this, It gives you the basic overall view of everything that you have here. Now you can open up Agenda right here. And when you open it up, it just lays out your calendar for you to plan all your important meetings and things like that. I'm going to go ahead and close out of this. Then we'll come back down. You've got Arc, Bonsai, Booho, Clip, Firefox browser, your Index, which is your file browser. Of course, your Nitro Share. When you open that up, I still got the same complaint that I had with this 6 months ago. Right here, the writing in the background is so light you can barely read it. It is a desktop application that makes it easy to transfer files. Now, I'm not going to go into it real in depth, but if you do download it, I suggest you play around with it. It is definitely a powerful tool, but like I said, I wish they would just fix the text in the background. Same problem every time I look at this distribution, just with this application though. So let's go ahead and close that. Go back over here. You've got your NX Software Center. We're going to come back to that here in a second. You got Kcalc, Steam, install Nitrux, install Bottles, Nota, Pix, Spectacle, Station. Let's go ahead and open up Station. I want to see real quick if they have HTOP. And they do. Right now at rest, you're using about 877 megs of the 2 gigs that I have issued to this machine. So that's not too bad. That's typically what I'm running on Garuda, my base desktop right now, when I'm not running OBS and things like that in the background. So what's really impressive though is I guess Nitrux is utilizing Latte Dock just a little better than Garuda does out of the box, because I don't use Latte Dock anymore on Garuda. I deleted it because it was using, you know, the desktop environment was using like 1.4, 1.5 gigs out of the box with Latte Dock. So when I got rid of it, it dropped down to the 700-800 area. So they're obviously utilizing Latte Dock a little better here. Now we did have a little CPU spike there, but that's no big deal. So let's go ahead and close this out. Let's come back down here. You've got your Pix. Let's open up Pix. That's one of your designed applications strictly for this operating system. Let's go ahead and open up, I think Booho's another. That's your Note application. You can move that over here. And as you can see, they pretty much line up. Clip is your video. And as you can see, all of these are Maui applications based on the Maui shell. And all of them go right along and have that great aesthetic that matches right up with the operating system. So I'm going to close out of that. Close, close. Now if we go back up here, I'm going to go ahead. I guess we can go ahead and go look at the settings now. Let's go ahead and zip on over there. And I'm not going to go through all these settings because if you watched any of my videos where I've covered KDE, you know what they all do. You're very familiar with them. What I do want to do is go down here to About System. And once that opens up, it shows you we are on KDE Plasma 5.25.4, framework version 5.97, kernel version 5.19.5, XanMod 1, and then the graphics platform is X11. So that gives you the information on the system there. Now I want to show you how to get applications installed on Nitrux OS. So we will go ahead and open this up. And you can see right here, let's go ahead and maximize that. You got some base views of applications up top. And then you've got your Maui apps, convergence applications for desktop and mobile computers made with the Maui kit. And it kind of gives you a different way to get applications pretty much across the system. So if you go up here, you can arrow through these, or do you just got to click on the dot? Okay, just click on the dots? No, don't click on the dots. You got your Maui apps, you've got your newest, popular in games, most popular. So you've got quite an easy way here. Free to OBS. So if you wanted OBS, you just click on that. Now OBS would be an app image, and it lets you know right here. Now my question is, are the Maui apps also app images? So let's say I wanted to get, I've already got Station, Wave, Clip. Do they actually have them itemized up here? Okay, so that did change. Okay, so you can drag through these. Okay, there's an arrow right there. So I've got Maui Pix, I've got Nota. Okay, let's just go to Clip. I know we've got it downloaded. Is it an app image as well? So everything that we run on here is an app image, whether it's a Maui application or not, it's using app images. I kind of like that. I like that for the fact that I think it's a little bit better for security and stability. Now, I'm going to have a lot of people disagree with me. Now, I don't like snaps. I'm okay with flat packs, okay with app images. A lot of people complain and say they take up way too much space or they're way too large, but I do like the fact that they run inside a container by themselves, and they keep, if there should be a security threat there, they keep it away from the rest of your system. Plus, I do believe when you run apps that come pre-configured with their own dependencies, that you have a little smoother operation with that application. And then if you do uninstall it, you don't accidentally uninstall it, something on your system might require. But I am going to say, if you do give Nitrux OS a look, check out the NX Software Center. It's definitely impressive. And you've got your shutdown, and I think that pretty much covers it. That's a look at Nitrux OS. Please do me a favor before you leave today. Please like, subscribe, or follow my channel. The more likes I get keeps me in YouTube's algorithm, which means the information you just saw in this video, if it was helpful to you, it can be helpful to somebody else. And subscribe. Doesn't cost anything. And if you end up not liking me, you can always unsubscribe. If you like the channel and enjoy the videos that we are producing, we are on 3 separate platforms: YouTube, Utreon, and Odyssey. And you can become members on all 3. On YouTube, it's only 99 cents. On Utreon, it's $2.99. And on Odyssey, it's $4. You can also buy us a cup of coffee, maybe go over to PayPal and throw us a donation, or go to Patreon and become a patron to the channel. All those links will be in the description below. As always, thank you so much for watching my video, and I will see you in the next video.